The Jacob Media Sports Network, in partnership with 97.3 ESPN, brings you the Mays and Eytan Show.
Middays with Harry Mays and Eytan Shander.
Now, it's the Midday Show with Harry Mays and Eytan Shander on 97.3 ESPN Radio.
All right, what's the most interesting thing? Forget that we're doing sports talk radio or whatever we're doing here. What's the most interesting thing to you going on right now? Like, if you were perusing through social media, if you were having a conversation with somebody out at the grocery store, or you don't shop there, but wherever you can be found out and about, somebody says, hey, that's Harry Mays. What's the most, because I have something right now that will derail the entire show. So that's why I bring it up now.
I mean, the whole Carson Wentz situation and the receivers. What do you
I want you to expand your mind here. Like somebody expanded their stomach. I want you to expand your mind.
I used to expand my mind back in the day. I told you I haven't done acid in 35 years.
I don't need you to do acid.
That's expanding your mind.
Okay, but I need you to not necessarily expand it to where you're in a different dimension. I'd like you to still be present here. But did you see? I don't even want to get into it unless you've got something pressing. Joel Embiid didn't score last night.
Oh, that was unbelievable. The whole way that game ended in the final couple of possessions, I would describe that team in crunch time last night in the half court as disarray. Mm-hmm. Nothing looked remotely organized.
No.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
Set up,
well, the execution
was just horrendous. I mean, and you get to Embiid going 0 for 11. I mean, it's almost impossible for me to believe that could happen, but it did.
Well, and that's the thing is, I don't know if we're having the same conversation now that we did at the end of last year, that we did at the end of 2 years ago. I don't know how angry and upset I'm supposed to be right now. This is not the football team losing two straight games and putting themselves in a very difficult position just to sniff the playoffs.
No, I know, but what we have seen thus far in this young season, and I say young season, is this new configuration, with some existing players and the new players, same coach, we're still seeing the same issues at crunch time against good teams that can play defense.
Okay.
And that has not changed since last year's playoffs.
No, but a lot of things haven't changed, right?
No, I know, but that's my observation of them.
This is the same exact team as they were last year, except Josh Richardson is on a tear over the last 5 games, and you do have Al Horford, who will help significantly in the playoffs to kind of fill that gap if, in fact, Embiid is sluggish, sick, whatever.
What was he last night?
People were saying that he shouldn't have traveled and played the back-to-back.
Oh, God.
Here's the thing. If you're out there and you're on the floor, you got to be able to help your team.
I agree.
It just goes back to this whole thing about when you talk trash to Karl Anthony Towns and tell somebody to get to your level, and you're not at a level in which the best are consistently, and I don't even mean on a regular night in 82 games. What I'm saying is, it doesn't matter if he'll go scoreless again for the rest of his career. The fact that it's happening surrounding the questions of whether or not he's in shape, and how much you can get out of him in a regular season, prepare for the playoffs, that's all relevant.
It is, and he did not look remotely in condition last night.
No. You know who looked in better condition over the last 30 days? All right, here's the thing. I'm not even going to poll this, all right? I wouldn't even insult you by putting a poll out.
Who's in better shape, you're asking?
Who has looked? Like today, if you look at today, who has looked in better shape over the last 30 days? Is it Joel Embiid, who we've seen at least 3 games I can think of where his conditioning has been in direct question. Like direct question, what's going on with this guy? Why is he gassed? He shouldn't be this gassed this early. Or Papa John.
Papa John Schnatter, or whatever his name is?
Yes, who put down 40 pizzas over the last 30 days.
What, is he doing this intentionally to sort of create awareness of something?
In an interview with WDRB, Schnatter said the company he set up in 1984 has declined over the past 2 years. Quote, I've had over 40 pizzas in the last 30 days, and it's not the same pizza.
Well, it took him 40 to figure out
that
it's not the same pizza?
You've heard of a 30 for 30.
Yes, right.
This is
40 and 30.
This is 40 and 30.
Wow.
Now, John Schnatter does not look like a man. Joel Embiid looks like he's put down 40 pizzas in 30 days after last night's action.
I think that might be a regular occurrence for him when he's not at Chick-fil-A.
You think it's Papa John's pizza?
Yeah, it could be.
I think it's just the fact that John Schnatter realized this whole time that he was never really eating his own pizza. Because
I never liked that pizza.
It's fast food pizza.
Yeah.
All three of them are the same.
Yeah,
right?
Domino's, same thing. What's the third one?
Pizza Hut.
Yeah, see, I always looked at Pizza Hut a little different.
That's because you're old enough to go back to when that was a sit-down restaurant.
You'd go in there, man, and it was all dark in there. It was dark and red and brown and black.
And what do they have
Everything
there?
was the same.
They had something, a staple there.
They had the tablecloths.
Well, that was
checkered,
right?
right?
The checkered
Red,
tablecloths,
white,
and they also had the salad bar.
Correct.
Yes.
They were one of the first, if I remember correctly. And I'm saying I'm like 12 years old. We'd go and, every now and then we'd go get some pizza. And you'd go in and sit down and you'd always get the salad bar to make you think like you're eating a little bit of healthy along with your pizza.
Well, think about the marketing genius. They were serving fast food.
Yeah.
Yet they created a restaurant atmosphere.
It's genius.
You and I grew up for a while never thinking it was true. And it was like,
and then Uno came east.
Uno was
He came east.
Well, I guess.
Wasn't it already in Chicago a long time, or was that just a mock, like a ripoff?
But I think Uno was more like a Friday's Applebee's. It just happens to specialize in pizza. Like Uno is a sit-down restaurant. There are bars there.
The deep dish.
The deep dish. Exactly right. But with all that said, I can't. I saw that story this morning, and I thought to myself, there's audio of him admitting it. I can't believe that.
40 pizzas in 30 days. Now, I couldn't eat, and I love pizza. Trust me. I don't think I could eat 40 pizzas in 30 days of good pizza.
Well, that's the thing. You couldn't eat bad pizza.
No, I definitely couldn't eat bad pizza to that volume.
What was going through his mind after pizza 34? Do you really need to eat 6 more? Are you not? How have you not been convinced after one that is god-awful pizza?
So, what is he just trying different, toppings and stuff on each pizza to figure out if it was the same pizza or not, or what?
And why is he waiting a day? Do you need to wait a day? Is that pizza so processed that you need to wait a day in order to put down another one?
To see how your body reacts to it? Is that what you're saying?
I don't know.
Because, you're eating 40 pizzas in 30 days. You're spending a little time in the restroom.
Well, I don't know. Doesn't that all block you up? That's a pretty healthy diet of being blocked up. Cheese and carb?
Yeah, but you're trying to become unblocked, is what I'm saying. It probably does block you up.
You got to
get unblocked.
Well, you have to. Basically, John had
eat some kale smoothies or something.
Correct.
Not Nick Kale.
No, not Nick Kale.
I'm talking about the vegetable.
I don't know if Nick Kale is a fan of kale.
No, he's not.
Or the smoothie itself. But I don't know, man. I couldn't believe it. All right. We have somebody on the line. Glenn. Let's talk with Glenn. What's up, Glenn? Hey, Glenn.
Hey, fellas. It's just crazy. We looking at Embiid, and people focus on Embiid only having, 0 points and having the bad game. And it takes away from Ben Simmons only having 10.
Mm-hmm.
To me, people understand Ben Simmons has not enough games to take it ever to another level. He gives you 10.
I agree.
Plays, he gives you 10.
He had 14 assists last night.
12. Yeah, I understand that.
Yeah, I know.
Come on, dude. It drives me crazy that people love the guy or give the guy the love he gets like he's great, man. He's only a guy. He's just a guy on offense. He's nothing on offense. He's just garbage, and it drives me crazy that people think he's good. No-look passes. He has no handle. He ain't handling the ball. He ain't breaking nobody down, getting to the bucket. Come on, man. I just think he's so overrated it drives me crazy. It just gives you 14. That's all he ever gives you. 14, 12, 16.
How many times did he go to the free throw line last night, Eytan? Because I remember seeing him drain 2 really nice free throws, but I can't remember how many times he went to the free throw line.
Well, I know Embiid missed all of his free throws.
2 for 2.
Right.
So I saw both of his free throws.
Correct.
He goes to the line for 2 shots. That was one trip.
Yeah. So I think, and Glenn, man, thanks.
I hear you, Glenn. I totally.
Yep, appreciate it. Here's the difference, though. I don't think you can say, hey, Ben Simmons is like, you can't apply what you've seen to asking him to do more if you've never seen it. Meaning, Ben Simmons has never shot threes consistently in an NBA game, so you can't really hold that against him.
But I'm not even saying threes.
No.
A jump shot.
This is the difference. I'm trying to lead up to what Glenn's point was, and I disagree with Glenn, and this is why. It's not that Ben Simmons is garbage and can't do it. It's that Ben Simmons is frustrating, not
because he won't do it.
Correct. And what he won't do is what Glenn just said he can't do. He can take somebody off the dribble to the hole. He can't pull up. He's not going to pull like a DeMar DeRozan, three dribbles, rock you to sleep, and pull up from the elbow extended. That's not his game either. But he can get to, we've seen him get to the basket. It's the fact that he won't, for whatever reason, that frustrates the hell out of people.
And I think it's because he doesn't want to get fouled and have to hit free throws.
Could be. I mean, look, if we're talking about a situation where a guy doesn't want to take a three because he doesn't want to miss, or he doesn't want to go to the rack late because he doesn't want to get fouled and miss, if we're talking about a guy who has a sincere fear of missing, then I don't know what to do at that point.
Yeah, I know. I mean, how can that guy be a pivotal, cornerstone to any successful franchise?
And I'm not questioning you. I'm just asking, like, I've heard this as well. But where did this whole thing originate from? Do you know? That he's afraid to miss? Because I think, here's the thing, like from a jump shot standpoint, I think there is some concern or fear of going like 0 for 10.
Well, I'm just sort of...
Like he couldn't survive what Embiid went through last night.
Oh, if he shot 11 times from the field, now outside of 5 feet, and missed all the shots, yeah, he might never play again.
I think that's our...
Yeah, he might never play again. Right. He might be like, you know what, I can't do it.
But that's our basic assumption off of this whole thing that's been created, that he's got this concern of missing.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, he just saw Joel. Now, maybe that's the good thing. Maybe he sees Joel going through it and is like, wow, okay, it wasn't as bad as I thought it would have been for him.
Oh, so last night could be therapeutic for Ben Simmons.
I don't know, man.
Wow.
I tell you what, we're now in year 3 of this being a problem. It wasn't a problem earlier, but Celtics and then the Raptors, and now it's a problem.
In the playoffs.
I don't know why. Here's the thing. Is it I don't know, so I'll ask. Is it entertaining for people to hear the same conversation about these guys and Embiid and Simmons over and over and over again? I don't know. Yeah. And to be fair, here's the thing, real quick, I'll ask this to you, Harry. People overreacted like a mug to that Ben Simmons 3. Oh, my God, Ben Simmons 3 was all over the place.
Not this show.
Right. No, not this show. And those people, I've noticed, there's a general consensus that the similar group of people who overreacted to the positive are now going to tell you not to react at all to the negative, which is last night with Embiid specifically.
That's because they're fanboys.
Isn't that the name of a group?
Is it? It's actually not a bad name for a band.
It isn't at all.
I don't know what kind of music.
Well, what kind of music? There's Fall Out Boy.
Yeah, they got a couple good songs.
Yeah, but Fanboy, like what? Fanboy, I don't think it could be, like you couldn't be a rapper named Fanboy because the whole thing, it assumes that you're a soft wannabe trend follower.
Yeah, but then you actually are the exact opposite.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah, right. Yo, check out this dude, Fanboy, man.
Like Slim on The Wire?
And then the guy just comes out and just starts dissing. Every track is a diss track for somebody else in the business.
Right, God.
Or hoop player, whatever the case.
Not Slim Charles, I was talking about the other Slim. But yes, that's what it would be. It'd be the whole play off of it.
Mm-hmm. You'd be the opposite.
Well, you'd be like the fat guy called Slim, right?
Yeah.
Or the slim guy called Heavy. You got a little beanpole of a buddy. You call him, yo, short stack, heavy, something like that.
Short stack.
Well, right, because he's tall beanpoles.
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying? You call him the opposite?
Yeah, I think that's where you're going down the right path.
Okay, I'm just making sure.
Yeah.
I don't know if that would last. Do you?
I got more reaction last night to the tweet that you put out on the show yesterday than anything Sixers related. I kept on getting tweets throughout the evening about how to improve Carson Wentz.
I still saw
some people
one this
coming
morning.
Up with some pretty good stuff. Like they put together some really good, tweets.
Yeah,
they thought about it.
Well, there was one 48 minutes ago at Atkinson.
Yep, I'm looking at it.
Get a real offensive coordinator, better play calling, have the O-line be healthy, tailor the offense to a skill set instead of pounding a square peg into a round hole. Oh, and get better receivers than Alshon and Aguilar. That'll do it. Here's the thing. Beautiful tweet.
That's a lot.
It's a lot. It's a great tweet. Just liked it.
Yeah.
But here's the problem. why wasn't this done heading into the season? Why did it take another bottom falling out for this to happen again, to where we're all saying changes need to desperately be made?
That's a great question, and it's funny you say that because Reuben Frank detailed the timeline of the Eagles' year of poor decisions at wide receiver. In other words, they thought they were addressing their ills of a year ago.
Okay.
And, you sign a 32-year-old wide receiver, to a 3-year deal with some nice guaranteed money, and he only gives you a game. You selected a wide receiver in the second round out of Stanford that you thought was maybe going to be the heir apparent to the Alshon Jeffrey in a year or two, whatever.
Okay.
And he looks like a guy who can't stay on the field, or at least he can't warrant a look from his quarterback, but maybe once every 3 games if he plays. The quarterback doesn't even want to look his way.
No.
And target him. So there's a problem.
That's a major problem.
Is he a bust? I don't know, but it's trending that way. I know it's too early to tell, but there's got to be a reason why Carson Wentz just doesn't care to throw him the football. Same with Mac Hollins, who they drafted years ago.
Would you throw the ball to Mac Hollins?
Oh, no, I wouldn't personally. But, at some point, when you're down Aguilar and all these other guys due to injury, you got to go with what's on the field. I think you got to say, hey, I'm going to fire him the ball and see if he's going to be in the right spot and see if he can catch it.
But see, I almost wonder if by putting him out there on the field, even in that circumstance that you laid out, is doing Carson Wentz a disservice. Meaning, and this is where Jordan Howard being hurt really, really does get you, because if Howard's healthy, you can have him as a feature back with Ajayi backing him up.
And then Sanders is the receiver.
Absolutely right.
Yeah.
So aren't you better off, if I see who's left out there, and I've got Ertz, Goddard, I've got Miles Sanders, and...
Is Howard on the field?
Okay, even if Howard's not on the field, I know that I have Jay Ajayi behind Sanders to the point at which I can spell him some. I just wonder if putting Hollins out there at all in a position where he's like a 1 or 2 option on the play. 5th option, that's fine. That's what he's used to. But calling a play for Mac Hollins, I think, is a disservice to Carson Wentz. Because it's asking him to look at a guy long enough for it to be a progression in the start of the progression, and it might set something off. There's just ripple effects to it. And I don't know if Mac Hollins has proven himself to be a guy you can rely on.
Well, he details that on August 31st, of course, they kept him on the 53, and that was obviously because he was a draft pick, and he was great on special teams.
Okay.
But he's resulted in just 10 catches for 125 yards. They exercised the 5th-year option on Aguilar's contract at $9+ million per season. They restructured Alshon Jeffrey's contract and converted $11.5 million of his 2020 base salary into guaranteed money that essentially made him uncuttable. And he has looked like a shell of himself this year. I don't know if it's just like age and injuries combined where he's just never going to be remotely what he was 2-3 years ago, whatever, or if it's just like he's gotten some money, he's won a Super Bowl, he's had a couple of good years, and he just doesn't really have the fire. Because there's been stories out there, unsubstantiated, that he was cleared to play and maybe didn't want to play.
Right.
Now, if that's a major problem, if true.
Yeah, I agree.
If true.
I agree. Especially because it kind of, like the 2 guys in Alshon and Nelson kind of hovered around that theory.
Correct, yes.
So, I don't know, maybe the writing's on the wall, maybe you realize that you're out, and...
I'm not putting my body through this anymore.
But here's the thing.
For who, for what? We're 5-6 now.
But that's that's an interesting question to raise. If you know now, if the fan, and you're going to talk to us, 609-403-0973, at Harry Mays, TU, at Shander Show, is how you get us on Twitter. The visual platforms are up from, Facebook, Periscope, Twitch, Mays and Eytan. Of course, the YouTube page is up there as well. We'll get to Tom in a second here. But here's what I'd say. As far as the point you were just making, right? Mm-hmm. Based off of what? That Alshon and Nelson didn't want to play, or like this allegation at least floating out there that maybe they didn't want to play. If you know that you're out, like if the fan knows now something we would never know, which is at this point Alshon gets a heads up, hey man, your agent or something like that, they're not going to renew your deal. From what I'm getting, I've been pushing him. Nelson Aguilar, you make way too much money, bro.
He's in the final year.
That's what I'm saying. you make way too much money,
He is
man.
gone.
I got you that contract. They're not bringing you back.
Right.
That happens, and sometimes it's after the fact. And but if you're privy and you ever talk to anybody and you're fortunate enough to hear an interview or have a conversation with anybody that played, that's happened. Where an agent will tell a player, "Look, dude, we tried, but they're shutting everything down. This is an off-season conversation." And at that point, if it's Aguilar, you know what an off-season conversation means. You're out.
Right.
And if it's Alshon, it usually means that they're working in back channels to try to trade you, or at the very least, they're working to absorb money to cut you.
No,
so
I don't think that's doable.
Trading is not, but cutting is.
I don't know, man. The dead money's incredible.
Look, man, we've seen this plenty of times before, where a guy has a lot of money on their contract, and a team in the NFL will be able to move on. And they'll renegotiate and they'll restructure and stuff will get moved and they'll eat money, don't get me wrong. But in the NFL, it's the one sport I refuse to say it's impossible.
But anyway, he just looks, he hasn't looked good all year.
No, but that's the thing. Like, what would the mentality be? Because I would be sympathetic to Alshon and Nelson knowing right now, hey, you're out. This team doesn't want you. And then being like, all right, well, what do I do here?
Right.
I
am hurt.
Exactly. I'm hurt. This is not like I'm healthy. This is not 100%. Oh, no. You need to go out and play for another team.
But it's like everybody is hurt at this point in the season, and everybody's playing with injuries, and everybody, like, look at the tight end, Kittle. For San Francisco.
Right.
He was hurt.
He was hurt.
You see the effort he gave?
I did.
But, that team's going somewhere.
Hopefully you took the Niners.
They
like I
might
told
play
you.
in a Super Bowl.
Yeah,
you know?
I agree.
And I'm sure there was a bunch of guys hurt for the Ravens last night, but they sucked it up and destroyed the L.A. Rams.
Well, we've seen this before with the Eagles where guys are hurt. I understand, but that's where I think the difference is. That's where the line is drawn.
Wow, what is this?
This is my new
Aqua jug.
Yeah, look at that.
This is, what is that, 64 ounces of
I can tell you
spring
right now.
Water?
What's 2,000 milliliters?
I have no idea. What is this, some Euro thing then?
I don't know, man. I got it on Amazon.
Of course you did.
I got a TV to put up here, right? So we can have another one.
Oh, we need another TV.
And the guy or woman, I don't know who, I don't want to be an assumer here. The Amazon driver. All right, it comes in the actual box you would walk out of like a Best Buy or Target with.
Yeah, it's
right?
got the picture, the graphics
it's like
on it. Yeah,
broadcast. Now, listen, I don't live in a bad neighborhood, or even
they
if I
put
did,
it on the porch.
they just put it right there on the porch.
Yeah,
There's a 42-inch TV screen that I got 60% off on Black Friday.
they don't care.
And they just threw it right there on the porch for my whole neighborhood to see.
Yep.
Somebody driving through, maybe trying to take a shortcut around the busy road I live by, might think, well, maybe this person doesn't want that TV.
Yeah, well, there's my Christmas shopping.
Exactly right.
Right. Gift number one.
It's like the person on Halloween who leaves take one and is not home.
Right.